like I say, our back line was strong. It was probably strong as it could possibly have been, and just to lose a little bit of punch off our bench. Both our back rowers, I think Chris Houston especially, he's been the form player in the team. He's won Players Man of the Match for the last 3 weeks, and like I say, he's been one of our best players all year, and he was a big loss to us. But Matt's been playing good, Christina's been really solid all year, so both the back rowers, I knew I could get 80 minutes out of both of them as well. So it was still a pretty strong starting lineup. And we've not been playing that badly, we just need a little bit of confidence. We got to a good lead, and then against a good side, we knew that we just had to show a lot of energy and work hard for each other.
Matt Willey's work rate in the game, I thought, was phenomenal.
I think he's been like that all year, Matt. I think he's just taken everything in stride this year. He's come out of, now he's in one of those players where he's probably in like his third full run out, third full season, pre-season, like his first couple of pre-seasons coming through at 17, 18 and 19. But now he's just established himself. He's a little bit mannish in his strength now. He's starting to really fall out, and it's pleasing to see him play as well as he does because of how hard he works at his game. He's a tough bloke.
A couple of others that really stood out. Lloyd White, obviously, not just for his tries but for his all-round contribution.
I think Lloyd's he's been searching for a little bit of form. Got injured early in the year, and he's been searching for a little bit of form the last few weeks, and he's not been playing that badly. Just like I say, there's that little bit of surprising what a couple of tries can do.
Wigan this week, they're sort of the ultimate ground out of win team, Wigan. Their points difference is not as good as Widnes's, for example, but they have a habit of, especially in tight games, getting over the line, don't they?
They just win games. I think that's the toughness that's in their side. Like you see, if you've watched both the games over the last couple of weeks, and say sometimes on some stages in the game you think they've got no right to win this game. The adversity of losing players and being short on players and players playing out of position is pretty easy to see in their team, but they just turn up, they work hard for each other, they battle for every inch, and that's the kind of side that you look at and you want to try and install a little bit of that in your team. That, like I say, they get you in a position where the game's not over, it's 80 minutes long, and they'll keep coming after you. And saying that's what you need with a Wigan side is you need, like I say, you need a strong referee. You need a referee that controls the ruck really well, because you can complain about the speed of the ruck and you can complain about, but if you've got players that are holding players in and referees are letting, you know what I mean? There's lots of things. Both sides want. If you asked Webster on the weekend, I think he would have probably said that he felt that Wigan was slowing them down in the ruck. So it's a tough side to play against, because they compete, they fight for every inch, and that's the battle you've got. And on the back of that, they've got Manfredi and Charnley and Tompkins, very, very dangerous in backfield. Gelling's, like I say, one of those players that you just don't know what to expect. If he's on his day, on his game, you're in trouble, because he's big and he's strong, he's got hands and he's fast. It's a great combination to have if he's focused and he's playing well.
I noticed Sam, I think, scored the winning try, didn't he, for Wigan at the weekend, and he's got a handful of games under his belt now after that long injury layoff. He's a special player, isn't he, and a real danger.
He's a good player. I'd say that's being understating how much influence he has on the team. I don't think he's ever stopped being, like I say, one of the world-class players in this country. And his influence on that team is apparent. It seems like he's enjoying his rugby. He's scored some crucial tries for them over this last 4 or 5 games that he's played. He probably gives them some stability and pep in their team as a go-to man. And I think, like I said, the maturity that he's gained from going to the other side of the world, working on a side that, like, he came out of Wigan and they were winning most weeks. He's gone to a side and he's had to have some adversity. He's not won every week. Expectations have been a little bit different on the back of some losses, and dealing with that has probably matured him as a player. That he's gone away and come back. I think he's gone away and probably come back a better player.
I know you're proud of some of the things the team's done in terms of milestones you kind of ticked off during the last few years. like the win at Castleford was the first in ages. A double over Wigan would be a nice milestone to chalk up, wouldn't it?
Well, those things are nice to talk about when you get there. It's not something that you actually set out as goals. I think you make the point there. The milestone thing is it puts in perspective where we are and where we sit when you think there was probably second or probably a lot of their power.
I think you're well ensconced in the top 8 now. I think you're still 8th, but you're 5 points clear of the bottom 4. There's no room for complacency, is there? Because some of those teams in the bottom 4 are not bad sides, are they?
They're all good sides. I think you've got 12 good teams. Like say, if you looked at the league this year, you wouldn't have put Leeds and Huddersfield at 11 and 12. They've probably sat us in there as well, as most people did. And there's a couple of things that have gone against us and have gone against them this year, but it's like I said, I'm not sure 5 points at this moment is enough. There's 5 games to go, there's 10 points up for grabs. So anybody needs a bit of a run. And I think what Wakefield have shown, what we showed at the beginning of the year, anybody can get on a bit of a run. I mean, they've really fired up the league this year and towards the second half of the year and put themselves in a strong position now around us and Castleford. And there's like I said, it doesn't get any easier this weekend. We've got Wigan, Castleford, we've got Hull. I'm not really sure with Wakefield, but I'm not sure where Wakefield play. Do they play Leeds? So at this moment in time, the form team out of those two is Wakefield.
Wigan this week, they're sort of the ultimate ground out of win team, Wigan. Their points difference is not as good as Widnes's, for example. But do you have a habit of, especially in tight games, getting over the line, don't
They just win games. I mean, that's the toughness that's in their side. Like I say, if you've watched both the games over the last couple of weeks, and said sometimes at some stages in the game, you think they've got no right to win this game. The adversity of losing players and being short on players and players playing out of position is pretty easy to see in their team. But they just turn up, they work hard for each other, battle for every inch. And that's the kind of side that you look at and you want to try and install a little bit of that in your team. Like I say, they get you in a position where the game's not over. It's 80 minutes long and they'll keep coming after you. What you need with a Wigan side is you need, like I say, you need a strong referee. You need a referee that controls the ruck really well. Because you can complain about the speed of the ruck and you can complain about, but if you've got players that are holding players in and referees are letting them, I mean, there's lots of things. Both sides want. If you asked Webster on the weekend, I think he would have probably said that he felt that Wigan was slowing them down a ruck. So it's a tough side to play against because they compete, they fight for every inch, and that's the battle you've got. And on the back of that, they've got Manfredi and Charnley and Tompkins, very, very dangerous in backfield. Gelling's, I'd say, one of those players that you just don't know what to expect. If he's on his day, on his game, you're in trouble because he's big and he's strong, he's got hands, he's fast. It's a great combination to have. He's focused and he's playing well.
I noticed Sam, I think, scored the winning try, didn't he, for Wigan at the weekend, and he's got a handful of games under his belt now after that long injury layoff. He's a special player, isn't he, and a real danger?
He's a good player. I say that's the man, being understating how much influence he has on the team. I don't think he's never ever stopped being, like I say, one of the world-class players in this country. His influence on that team is apparent. It seems like he's enjoying his rugby. He's scored some crucial tries for them over this last 4 or 5 games that he's played. Probably gives them some stability and pep in their team as the go-to man. And I think, like I said, the maturity that he's gained from going to the other side of the world, working at a side that came out of Wigan and they were winning most weeks. He's gone to a side and he's had to have some adversity. He's not won every week. Expectations have been a little bit different on the back of some losses, and dealing with that has probably matured him as a player. That he's gone away, come back, and he's gone away and probably come back a better player.
I know you're proud of some of the things the team's done in terms of milestones you kind of ticked off during the last few years, like the win at Castleford was the first in ages. A double over Wigan would be a nice milestone to chalk up, wouldn't it?
Well, those things are nice to talk about when you get there. It's not something that you actually set out as goals. I think they make the point that the milestone thing is it puts in perspective where we are and where we sit. The things that we've achieved over this 4 or 5 years, and what we've constantly tried to do is every single year take a step forward. We know that's getting harder to do after the first 2 or 3 years. When you start at the bottom, as I said, there's only one place to go. So we've moved ourselves into a situation where now the next step is the toughest one. We want to get out of that group of player teams that sit between 6th and 10th, really. And that's, well, I don't see us as a bottom 2 side, I don't see us as a top 4 side yet. But we're in that competitive element where if we get some luck and we stay healthy, who knows what we could achieve. I think that still plays a big part. We've got 5 games to go, we've got possible 10 points to collect. Nobody does anything around us or above us that could put us in a good striking distance come the end of the year. So looking on that positive side of things, that's where we're aiming. We're not trying to look down anymore, we're trying to look up.
You gave Tom Gilmore a new contract last week, or it was announced last week. Kevin Brown and Joe Miller are still at the club. There was speculation about him, he's a good player, we know, and there was speculation about him going wherever. Does it say something about the environment here and the fact that players, even those who are fighting to get in the team, still want to stick around?
Yeah, I think Tom sees his long-term future here. He's still a very young man. Like I say, and Kevin's in his 32, 33, I think he's 32 next month, or next month. So it's, and Kev's not, we're not looking at Kev's ages and as a ceiling to wherever he finishes, and you need that competition from now. If you look at the side, Tom would have played a lot more this year. He just got really unlucky. At a stage when he was probably ready to go into the side and probably get a run of games and make that little bit more competitive for those halves in his position, dislocates his shoulder. So he's a Widnes lad. He wants to play for Widnes. He wants to make a difference at Widnes. I want to give him that opportunity to do that, and he's got to fight for a spot. And what you're trying to do is, when you look like going back to where we are as a team, I need to build a strong squad. When you look across the teams that are still doing well are those teams that have strong people within the squad. I know that comes through, a lot of it comes through the youth development and the people that are there, and a lot of it comes through the fact that they've got good numbers, and Tom gives us that.
Wayne Bennett's over, isn't he? Could you just give us a little bit of an insight about how you plan to get together with him this week? Have you got meetings planned with him? You probably met. I'm sure you've met him already, and what have you? No, he only arrived yesterday. He only arrived yesterday. He's based in Leeds. We're meeting up today, and that's it. We'll see where we go from there. There's no real massive plan. I think, like I say, Wayne's pretty cool about what he wants. I think he's pretty sure about how he wants to run things. So we'll just have a chat today. We've spoken a number of times on the phone about a number of different things about the game. Both over here in Australia, and again, I say he's pretty cool and laid back. He knows what he wants, and I don't think he'll have a problem getting it. I think that today will be just that starting point for the next 3 or 4 months, and let the expectation flow into the players about what he's after and what he wants to see. And he'll do the same with the staff that he's got there, for myself and the rest of the people that are involved in this part of the world. I don't know how long he's over, I don't presume he's going to want to say something.
9-10 days.
Right, so he's going to say some live games.
He's just taking on as many games as he can, although, like I say, he'll be here
on Thursday?
He'll be here on Thursday night, he'll be wherever the cameras are, or watching the game on Friday, he'll be trying to pick a game up on Sunday, and then I think he heads back over to Australia. So I think he'll grab as many games as he possibly can. So he's a constant and avid rugby league man. He just, like I say, we spoke last week, he'd watched our game on Thursday night and he'd watched some of the stuff from the week before, a lot of the games. He knows what he wants.
Just a bit of team stuff, Denis. The 3 that dropped out late on, are they better or no?
Chris Houston's got mumps.
Right.
We're just waiting for it, so he's not showing any symptoms again. Like I say, it's pretty contagious. Luckily he's been immunised, which I thought you couldn't get it, but obviously that's not true. But it means that you get a real mild version of it, and mild version means that it's not going to affect him long term, but he's still got swelling in glands and he's still run down, he's done no training, he's not done anything for the last 6 or 7 days. So we'll just have to keep monitoring him and see where he is. Gil Dunson's pretty much the same. He's had some sickness an illness, and he's just, I think again he's in today, so we'll assess where he is and look at his weight, look at his general health, and get some, like I said, to go into a game like Wigan on the back of a couple of days training is probably not ideal, so we'll assess them where they are today. And Sar's probably the same. Yeah, he's got a swollen, he had a swollen knee last week, so he's having some problems after some training sessions. He'll be assessed today and we'll see where we sit with him. But we came out of the game in pretty good shape, which is always a bonus at this stage of the year when you put in a couple of 19-year-olds in there. So it's pretty much as it is. But the competitive element in the side is there. I think we saw that last week, and we're excited about coming home and being on TV again this Thursday night.
Martian O'Carroll is still not right?
No.
Right.
I thought Jay was brilliant. So just that little bit of trust to stick him on and give him a period of the game. I think he showed lots of it. What we wanted from them both was just wanted some energy, and as to, like I said, just go out and play. Like I said, they both come through the system and they know what's expected of them. But going into that game and not being overawed, not being pushed out of the way, giving the team some kind of inspiration by some positive actions. I think Jay did that. Like say, see when he carries the ball from a kick-off, he's growling away, and Aaron's whipping him up and trying to fire him into the line. And
I think Castleford as well targeted him a little bit.
Yeah, well, you would do. Like say, he's a big man and he's a young man. He's like say, you just got to test out his resolve. And I think he came through that. Like say, a couple of sets, he was taking 2 and 3 carries. His contact was good into the tackle area. And I think when I rolled out, Brad with, I think it was about 12 and 30 minutes to go. We were 28 points up. After another 3 or 4 minutes, I was thinking, Jesus. Like I said, there's nothing to do with Brad. It was just the state of the game, and it was good to have Brad out there. I think it'll be a great lesson for him to learn. Like I say, there was a decent crowd there. They've come flying back. He got caught in a tumble dryer a couple of times, not really knowing where he was. Just using that game as a stepping stone. I was really pleased with both of them. I thought I say it's easy when you come out of the win and they've been exposed to that level of intensity. It's only going to be good for them and for us.
Well, they might be getting another goal this week, might they?
Jay's definitely in contention again this week, and I say both of them are in the squad. So if we've only got 19 blokes, then they're definitely not far off.
He goes to Australia in a month, doesn't he, Brad?
Yes, he does. Yeah, captains.
Still letting him go then?
England. Yes, well, it's pretty easy to say. Oh, I think you get more. You'll get more out of playing off the bench for us or being 19th man. No, I think it'd be really unfair to pull him out of a trip of a lifetime and expose him again to that next level, going over to Australia, playing an international series against his peers in Australia, and just being exposed to that. I don't think he's not been to Australia. I say that the same with all those 4 lads. It's an exciting time for him. The one that almost made it back and he's just not going to be right injury-wise is Ollie Ashall. Actually considered taking Ollie if he'd just been on the cusp of getting right, but he won't be ready to play any part over there. So in effect, when you look at what I spoke about before about having a number of people that, when you look at Wigan squad and you look at those squads, even St Helens, that you need those kind of lads that have been exposed to that level. For the first time ever, we got 5 kids in that group. That's only going to make us stronger moving forward into the next 2 or 3 years.
Second highest number of people from a particular club. In Wigan, I think, have got 7 going. Yeah. Winners have got 4. It's another feather in the cap of the club, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. And like I say, you've got to give a lot of credit to some of our recruitment through our junior grades and the academy set up and how hard Phil Finney works. And then a lot of credit comes, and this is not just through me, but the fact that the doors are open, the exposure that our 16s have when they step into that group of academy players through the first team. Brett working with them, Mick Cass working with them, Dave Banks working with them, me spending time around them as well. Like they said, there's a real good pathway there for those lads to see, and then the understanding of what the expectations are, because we don't nurture it down when we see them, we crank it up a little bit.